What if claiming Social Security at 62 costs you tens of thousands of dollars, and you don't even realize it until decades later? In 2025, a growing number of retirees are looking back with regret, wishing someone had warned them about the permanent trade-offs they locked in the day they hit apply. They thought an early check meant freedom, a bit of extra cash to bridge the gap between work and retirement. Instead, they found themselves stuck with a lifelong benefit cut, 30 to 40% smaller than if they had waited, and no simple way to claw that money back. It didn't stop there. For many, earnings from part-time work or side gigs triggered benefit withholding under the Social Security earnings test, and those withheld dollars vanished forever unless they navigated a complex one-year withdrawal and repayment process few even knew existed. Spouses discovered too late that their survivor benefits were tied to the lower claimant's rate, leaving families scrambling when a spouse passed. And some who tried to rectify their mistake missed the narrow 12-month reversal window, only to learn that the do-over disappears once time runs out. By the time these early claimers pressed their regrets into family dinner conversations, the damage was done. They faced reduced lifetime income, sometimes more than $200,000 in lost cash flow, higher Medicare premiums thanks to IRMAA surcharges, and the helpless realization that the rules work exactly as written. No refunds, no do-overs after one shot, and no exceptions for honest mistakes. In this video, we'll dive into 5 real regrets from 2025 early Social Security filers, unpack the hidden mechanics behind each pitfall, and show you how to avoid the same fate. Because as thousands of retirees have already discovered, getting your start date wrong isn't just a small blip, it can haunt your retirement for life. Locking in your Social Security at 62 means accepting a permanent benefit cut, no matter how long you live. Instead of waiting until your full retirement age, which for many is 67, or even delaying to earn delayed retirement credits up to age 70, early claimers see their checks slashed by 30 to 40%. That reduction isn't temporary or reversible. It's baked into every future payment. Imagine planning your retirement budget around a $2,000 monthly check, only to discover you'll actually receive $1,200. That $800 gap compounds over time. Over a 20-year retirement, you'll collect roughly $192,000 less in benefits than someone who waited until full retirement age. And that's before accounting for cost of living adjustments, which are applied to your reduced baseline. For many retirees, that permanent cut feels like a hidden tax on longevity. The longer you live past age 62, the more you pay for those extra early years of benefits. Someone living to 90 will endure nearly 3 decades of lower checks, multiplying the impact far beyond just the first few years. Even if you expected to tap a smaller benefit for only a short time, you're actually committing to a lifelong reduction. What's more, financial planning models rarely factor in this permanent penalty. Advisors focusing on short-term cash flow often recommend early claiming to bridge the work-to-retirement gap without fully illustrating the long-term cost. Those initial extra checks can feel like a victory, but they quietly siphon away tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars that could have grown in a retirement account or covered higher living costs later. The core lesson: early claiming isn't a neutral decision, it's a one-way street. Once you file, that reduced benefit is your new normal. There's no built-in reset to recapture the income you sacrificed. Understanding the irreversible nature of this cut is the first step toward avoiding a regret that can echo through your entire retirement. The true cost of filing early isn't just the immediate reduction, it's the cumulative lifetime income you forfeit. Consider this. Someone who claims at 62 instead of 67 might give up $800 a month on a $2,000 full benefit, but that number hides the scale of the loss. Over 12 months, that's $9,600. Over 20 years, it balloons to $192,000. Factor in cost of living adjustments, even at a modest 2% annual increase. That 5-year head start becomes a shortfall easily exceeding $250,000. And that's assuming you live only to 82. If you reach 90 or beyond, the gap widens further, making the sacrifice for early cash increasingly punishing as you age. Sadly, many early claimers underestimate this lifelong drag. They see the extra checks in their bank account at age 62 and focus on the short-term boost, never pausing to calculate what that decision means years down the line. Financial calculators that illustrate break-even points often obscure the greater cumulative impact because they show when early claimers catch up in total dollars received, not in purchasing power or inflation-adjusted terms. By the time retirees realize the lifelong hole they've dug, it's too late to reverse, and their only recourse is living with a permanently lower standard of living or dipping into other retirement assets to bridge the gap. Even savvy planners sometimes gloss over this when modeling retirement income. It's tempting to prioritize immediate cash flow, especially if health concerns or unexpected expenses arise, but the long-term trade-off is profound. That lifetime income loss could have funded a dream vacation spree in your 70s, covered escalating healthcare costs in your 80s, or simply provided peace of mind in managing day-to-day expenses without touching principal. Understanding this isn't about fear-mongering, it's about clarity. Before clicking apply, do the math for your own situation. Project your monthly benefit at full retirement age, apply the 30 to 40% reduction, and multiply by your estimated post-age 67 lifespan. Seeing that $500,000 difference written out in black and white is a powerful deterrent against early filing regrets, because a smaller check today can cost you a fortune over a lifetime. Squeezing in even a few $1,000s of earned income after you file for Social Security at 62 can trigger devastating penalties, and those withheld benefits vanish as if they never existed. In 2025, the earnings test excludes $22,320 of income for those under full retirement age. For every $2 earned above that cap, the SSA withholds $1 in benefits. That means if you earn just $10,000 over the limit, perhaps through part-time work, a consulting gig, or even gig economy side hustles, you lose $5,000 in monthly checks. Worse, those dollars aren't held in reserve. They're permanently forfeited unless you navigate the arcane withdrawal and repayment process within 12 months, a step most retirees don't even know exists. Take Joan, who filed at 62 while continuing to teach writing workshops 6 months out of the year. She believed her workshop honoraria wouldn't affect her benefits, and then learned the hard way that her annual $30,000 in side income meant $3,840 in withheld Social Security that year alone. By the time her tax return arrived, those payments were gone, and she had no idea she could have repaid them and restarted her claim to avoid the penalty. The math punishes ambition. Suppose you plan to supplement your early benefit of $1,200 per month with $15,000 of contract work each year. Instead of pocketing $18,000 in supplemental income, you discover you've cost yourself $7,500 in withheld benefits, nearly half your earnings. And because the test applies dollar for dollar, the larger the paycheck, the heavier the penalty. Even worse, the earnings test only phases out in the year you reach full retirement age, after which you can earn unlimited amounts without penalty, but by then the damage to your lifetime benefit is done. You can repay and reapply, but only if you catch the 12-month reminder window and jump through the SSA's hoops. Few retirees do. The takeaway is clear. Filing early while hoping to keep working is a gamble with rules skewed against active retirees. If you claim at 62, either plan on zero earnings or understand exactly how to withdraw and repay within a year. Otherwise, you're quietly bidding farewell to tens of thousands of dollars in benefits you'll never see. Spouses often realize too late that an early claim can rip away thousands from survivor benefits, and it hits hardest when one partner passes. When you file at 62, you're locking in a reduced primary insurance amount that determines not only your own monthly check, but also the survivor benefit your spouse can claim after you're gone. If your reduced benefit is $1,200 instead of the full $2,000 you'd get at full retirement age. Your spouse's survivor check is based on that smaller number, meaning a lifetime of $800 less each month. Over a 20-year widowhood, that adds up to nearly $200,000 in lost income. Many couples don't even discuss this in advance. They assume that I'll just claim my spouse's benefit if I survive you, without realizing that survivor benefits are capped at the amount the deceased was actually receiving. That means your spouse can never step up to the full benefit you might have earned by delaying your own claim, and there's no retrospective adjustment once you've set your date. Even strategies like filing and suspending, which once allowed delayed credits, were eliminated by the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, leaving spouses with fewer options to maximize combined lifetime income. Then there's the twist for divorced or remarried survivors. If you claim early on your own record without filing a restricted application to collect only spousal benefits, a trick available only at full retirement age, you forfeit the chance to maximize either benefit. Divorced spouses eligible for survivor benefits based on an ex's record can lose out on thousands simply by filing too early on their own work history rather than waiting to file a restricted claim for survivor status. And remarriage before age 60 or 50 for a disabled survivor can disqualify you from collecting any survivor benefit at all, another rule few understand when they rush to file at 62. Real-life stories abound of couples who thought they were securing income by grabbing those early checks, only to watch their widowed spouse struggle on a reduced check that never recovers. The heartbreak multiplies when they discover there's no do-over. The 12-month withdrawal option doesn't restore spousal benefits, and the IRS and SSA won't retroactively bump survivor payments. For anyone considering an early claim, coordinating with your spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse isn't optional, it's essential. Otherwise, you could leave your partner with decades of regret and financial shortfall that no amount of delayed retirement credits can fix. The fifth regret cuts deeper for those who learn about it too late, missing the one-year reversal window that could have erased their early claim and let them reapply for a higher benefit. When you file for Social Security at 62, the clock starts ticking on a little-known withdrawal of application rule. Within 12 months of your first check, you can submit Form SSA 521, repay every dollar you've received, including Medicare premiums, and effectively reset your claim as if you'd never applied. That one shot lets you delay your benefit to full retirement age or even age 70 to capture those valuable delayed retirement credits. But the catch is unforgiving. Miss that 12-month deadline by a single day, and the do-over vanishes forever, along with any chance to recoup the permanent 30 to 40% reduction you locked in. Countless retirees share the same story. They claim early, then hear whispers of the reversal option at a family gathering or read about it long after the deadline. By that point, even repaying is moot, and their only recourse is to live with the smaller benefit or start over with a spouse's record, if applicable, at age 70, which still falls short of their original entitlement. Some scramble to track down the form, only to learn SSA offices no longer process late withdrawal requests, leaving them stuck with a lifetime of reduced checks. The process itself isn't complex. It requires filling out SSA 521, calculating total benefits received, including net withholdings, and mailing a certified check. Yet awareness is what's scarce. The SSA doesn't automatically inform you of this option when you sign up. It's buried in policy manuals and seldom mentioned in standard retirement planning conversations. And advisors focused on optimal claiming age often overlook teaching clients about this safety valve. For early filers juggling side gigs or facing unexpected expenses, that do-over could mean the difference between a cramped retirement budget and a comfortable maxed-out benefit. Missing the window isn't just a procedural slip, it's the loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars in possible income. If you've claimed early or are advising someone who has, mark that 12-month horizon on your calendar, gather your paperwork immediately, and decide whether early filing is truly worth the one-way trip you're on. Because once that reversal window closes, there's no rewind button on your lifelong benefit. Every retiree who's filed early for Social Security eventually confronts the same bitter truth. Those extra checks in your bank account at age 62 come at the expense of a lifetime of higher income, survivor protections, and peace of mind you can never fully recover. You locked in a permanent benefit cut of 30 to 40%, and even cost of living adjustments on that reduced baseline leave you perpetually behind someone who waited. You forfeited hard-earned earnings under the Social Security earnings test, never realizing those withheld dollars disappear unless you navigate a one-year do-over that few even know exists. You compromised your spouse's future by cementing a lower survivor benefit tied to your early claim, and you missed the small window to withdraw and reset your application, eliminating any chance to rebuild toward a larger check at full retirement age or beyond. Add unexpected IRMAA surcharges on your Medicare premiums, and the frustration of discovering the SSA's own rules leave no room for genuine second chances, and it becomes clear why so many early filers regret their decision. The damage isn't an abstract what if, it's real dollars you'll never see, and a retirement lifestyle you might have enjoyed slipping slowly out of reach. But understanding these 5 missteps gives you power. You can choose to delay, plan around side income, coordinate spousal strategies, and, even after the fact, evaluate whether withdrawal and reapplication makes sense within the 12-month window. If you haven't yet filed, run the numbers, consider your health and work plans, and ask your advisor to model the long-term impact, not just your first few years of checks. And if you've already filed at 62, act fast. Learn about the SSA 521 form, gather your repayment figures, and decide whether reclaiming that lifetime of income is worth one final paperwork push. Because the difference between a regret-filled retirement and a secure, comfortable future can hinge on understanding these hidden rules and making the right move before it's too late.